Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today's idea is instead of going through and ranking somebody else's power, I'm going to be going through and talking about a power that I've been sort of creating for the last couple of years. To kind of give you a quick summary of it before we go really in depth, it's kind of the manipulation and total control over atoms, so the basic structure of pretty much everything. So to start off, the power consists of me being able to have complete control over all of my atoms, which kind of makes it so that they can't be really destroyed or moved without my say so. So this kind of means like somebody comes and tries to hit me, shoot me, burn me, do whatever they want to try to damage me, even just shove me, that unless I want it to happen, it's not going to happen because I'm saying that my atoms are not allowed to be moved or destroyed. The second part, the more powerful part about this, is that since I have complete control over all of my atoms, I am able to rearrange them and turn them into completely different objects while still being able to control how my body is. So, for example, I can keep my physical form, but I can change my whole body into any material. Water, fire, I can even change it to steel, anything, even air, but I still maintain this humanoid form. And the good thing about this is that even though I'm able to change my body, it's not just limited to changing it into one solid object all the way through. I can change it into whatever I want to and however many different things I want to. So let's say, for instance, I take my right hand and my left hand. And now let's say I make my right hand one material. I can then go and make my left hand a different material without changing the rest of my body. So my right hand could be, let's say, steel. My left hand could be maybe water, but the rest of my body is still flesh and blood like it normally is. Another addition to this power is that not only am I able to have complete control over all of my atoms, but I'm also able to control any atoms that I touch. So I can turn whatever I'm actively touching into anything. However, if I am touching an object that is not me and I decide to turn it into either a liquid or a gas, it does not keep its same form. So if I was to turn the computer that I'm recording on into a liquid like water, it would act as regular water and the computer would fall apart. Just like regular water would. The thing about changing myself and other objects that I'm touching into other compositions is that when I'm changing myself into a liquid or a gas or a solid, I can always change myself back to my original flesh and blood. However, when touching another object and turning it into a different material, if it is a solid, like any physical stuff that doesn't fall apart on its own, I can turn it back to its original form. However, if I'm touching another object and turning it into either a liquid or a gas, if I try to change it back to its original form, it won't work because it's going to fall apart and it's not going to be able to keep its structure as that liquid or gas. The limit to being able to change other objects is that I can only change one thing at a time. And not necessarily just one thing at a time, but only one material. So let's say I was to touch the metal part of my computer and turn it into, I don't know, wood. Let's say we're turning the metal into wood. Since I'm touching my computer and the metal part is what I'm touching, only the metal on my computer is what would be turned to wood. All the glass and the plastic of the stickers and the screen protector, the keys, all of that would stay as it is. Since I'm only touching the metal, that is the only object that I'm able to change. Now, this is a huge downfall on the power because even though, yes, I'm able to touch an object, it's very limited to the spread of how far it can touch. Because nowadays, lots of things are made out of lots of different materials, and usually it's in smaller chunks of material rather than big ones. But, let's say I'm able to touch another person and I'm going to turn them into regular wood, right? All of their skin and their insides would turn into wood, but not their clothes, hair, or anything else that they may be wearing. The last little bonus to the power is that let's say I want to be able to control an object without having to touch it at all times. what I can do is, since I have complete control over my atoms, what I can do is I can simply choose to detach one of my atoms from my body, right? Then I'll take that atom and I'll send it flying towards, let's say another object. When that atom hits that object, it becomes attached. So now that atom is fused with that object, making it so that I have complete control over that object now without having to come in contact with the rest of my body. Okay, now it's time to go a little bit more in depth with this. So you'd think that since this is more of a physical changing power than more of like a strength or defense power, that it wouldn't be really great in either of those categories. However, if you really think about it, since I have complete control over my atoms and I can choose whether they can be moved or not moved, it's incredibly good for both strength and defense. Here's why. For strength, being able to just move my atoms wherever I want, move my body however I want, without having to worry about resistance such as something else pushing back or the effect of gravity, it's basically a infinite force of push without any pull, making it essentially unlimited strength. And for defense, same thing. Being unable to move, no matter what is coming at me, no matter what's hitting me, attacking me, nothing's going to happen to me as long as I choose to not have anything happen to me. Now, let's go into the more depth part of being able to change my actual body. See, this one I took a little bit of inspiration from more of the Logia types from One Piece, where they're able to change their body into different stuff. However, with mine, instead of being limited to just one object, I can change it into anything that I can think of. Now, with being able to change other objects into different things, this could be very beneficial for the world. I could go around, I could move extremely fast, being able to change my body into, let's say, lightning, but also being able to change my hands into, just regular flesh so that I don't destroy anything. I could move around extremely fast, collect all the trash I can find around the world, bring it back, but then with the power of changing it, I can remove all the chemicals and turn it into, fresh water, fresh food, all of the components that could really benefit our world, turning pollution into positivity. And I think that could be really beneficial. It could also be really helpful for, preventing or helping fix disasters. Let's say that there's a really bad accident and there's lots of rubble and destruction everywhere, and somebody is, trapped underneath something. All I have to do is touch the thing they're trapped under, turn it into air, and boom, the object is gone and no longer exists, and that person can be freed. Thank you all for joining me today and listening to me ramble about, an idea that I've had and been working on for a little bit. Remember, if you liked, be sure to subscribe and like the video, and, come back for more if you want to.